Hey everybody, welcome back to Durbin's Bourbon. I'm Joe.
And I'm Josh.
Today's whiskey review, Sam Houston 15-year aged bourbon. This particular bourbon went into the barrel in April of 06. It was dumped in April of 21. 15 years later. This is barrel or bottle number 43 out of, wow, ripping me off, bro.
My bottle shut out.
Like I said before I was so rudely interrupted by an overindulgent drinker pouring heavy pours. No, they're pretty close. They're pretty close, bro. This bottle number 43 out of 480 barrels. Is this a single barrel product? No. It is a 3-barrel ultra small batch bourbon is what I would call this. 3 barrels is pretty low. Pretty small amount.
Right.
ID batch number, it says ID 1, 4 of 6, like we talked about. They use a char of number 4 char on the oak barrels that they age it in. Mash bill is 74% corn, 18% rye, and 8% malted barley.
Oh, they put all that on there? That's cool.
No, I know it. It's all up here.
I thought it was the glasses.
It's on the side of the bottle as well. I'm not that smart, but I am somewhat able to retain information about whiskey.
Certain stuff.
Nothing else, though. Bottled by Three Springs Bottling Company, Bowling Green, Kentucky, for Western Spirits. Bowling Green. So that is the
it's got a great
most
nose.
western part of the state. Down south where Kentucky goes down into that little pinch, Bowling Green is right there.
Oh, really?
Yep.
So what's the state next to it then? Alabama or something?
You got directly below is Tennessee.
That's
is
right.
right below it, and then on the peak is, I can't remember.
Virginia?
No, Virginia is the other side. We're going west.
Oh, west side. Oh.
Yeah, as Kentucky goes down, going
like
west.
Nebraska or something?
Something like that. Somewhere. One
Look
of
at
those
us not knowing our...
I don't care about any state.
It's all flat.
There. Right. If it's Nebraska.
We care about Kentucky.
We
and
do.
Ohio.
Yeah. And Tennessee.
And Alabama. I have friends in Alabama.
Yep. Georgia. Mississippi.
Mm-hmm. Missouri. That's where my grandpa was from.
Yeah. Yeah. And some of the great...
So I guess we do care.
Apparently
we do care a lot about it.
Just can't picture what state touches the top. Indiana. I think it's Indiana.
Okay. Is that a state? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, the Hoosier State.
You do retain information.
I do.
Shit. Kind of great nose, I think.
Yeah, it's
very vanilla.
Florally, kind of.
Florally?
Floral.
I get vanilla.
Yeah, I could see vanilla, caramel,
like
orange,
almost butterscotch, orange. Definitely there's a lot of citrus in there.
there's some citrus.
Orange is good. I got that.
Oh, proof is
a lot. I think it's 107 or something.
103.
That's close.
You were close.
3 almost looks like a 7, but backwards and not the same.
So 103 proof. Nice dark.
Yeah.
Nice dark color. 15 years. It is a bourbon, so y'all know with bourbon
price
laws,
point is 130. So it's not cheap.
Not cheap. You're paying for a
and I've said on here a million times, I am a sucker for age statements. So I saw the 15-year, I'm like, I'm buying it.
Yeah.
I don't care if it sucks. It's got 15 years on it.
Yep.
Especially for bourbon. Scotch is a little different because they're typically older, but
right. It's neat. I mean, you're going to pay 130 for that. A 15-year Van Winkle or a Pappy.
Yeah.
It's a weeded bourbon as opposed to a rye mash bill, but it's still sitting in the oak cask for 15 years. Dark color, comparable proofs as far as that. Nose is pleasant.
Yeah.
There's
butterscotchy.
There's a really strong
I get like a vanilla Tootsie Roll. You know those crappy Tootsie Rolls, like the vanilla one?
Kind of a waxy
they're
vanilla.
Crappy, but kind of good, but they're kind of gross. Yeah.
What is that?
It is. It's waxy vanilla. It's very
waxy
vanilla.
vanilla.
Like I said, those vanilla Tootsie Rolls are like waxy.
Yep.
But sweet.
It's got a really, it has a very pleasant nose to it. And the alcohol for 103, it's not real stingy on the nose. No. Definitely add, I'm going to try a little water after we do a regular taste. Good color.
In too much.
Nice, mediocre legs. Let's go in.
All right, cheers. Cheers, everybody. Man. It's oaky.
Yeah, that it is.
Very oaky. Astringent. I'm starting to get some of the sweetness now.
There's a my tongue. There's a dark cherry note.
Mm-hmm. Dark chocolate, dark cherry. Bitterness.
Bitter. Yeah, bitter.
Orange peel.
Mm-hmm. So that's on the first sip. Y'all should probably, if you're tasting whiskeys, go in for a really light kind of palate coating, and then come back, let it finish and dry out, and then come back and take a secondary, because your first taste is really never going to give you that first. No, it's like that shock palate.
Correct. It's like that. Your body's like, oh, so you're going to keep drinking this poison? Now we'll get the flavors of it. Like, I got heavy dark chocolate on my second sip. Almost like a dark chocolate, orange peel, like you said, dark cherry.
Boy, that
oaky.
Boy, that oak. Boy, that
whole got a lot of bitterness. It's complex.
That oak is very strong, and there is a really strong leathery, astringent characteristic. Right in the center of the tongue, the alcohol is lighting me on fire. I'm
getting really powerful bitter dark chocolate in the middle.
I could see that. Yeah, there's definitely a strong
it's
bitter
like I
note.
Yeah, took a chunk of dark chocolate.
Mm-hmm. It's got that dry cocoa bitterness to it.
Right. And then good. There's no sweetness at all.
There is no
It's a very strong bourbon, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's no sweet note to that whatsoever.
We're gonna add water. It's gonna bring out the rye, bro.
I know.
I'll try.
I'm just gonna. I put.
Just because the heat.
A couple little drops. I'm trying to drop that because I think the alcohol is. Yikers!
Excuse me.
Done. Soften the nose a little bit. The alcohol burn for me.
You're right. I'm on fire.
The alcohol burn on this is really strong, and there's alcohol. There's bourbons out there that are 100 proof, 107, 120 that don't burn this bad.
No, it's got some heat.
I think that's just because of the oak. There's so many tannins from that.
Probably
15
the oils
years
and stuff just like stick to your tongue.
It's just.
Because my tongue feels
thick.
fat.
Right, mine does too. Water didn't hurt the nose.
No, just
softened it. Yep. Yeah.
God, that vanilla waxiness. That was such a good call.
Yeah.
It's like a waxy vanilla, creamy kind of.
Mm-hmm. I'm hoping water softened
up. Does it say what their tasting notes? Oh, thanks, buddy. I can't
You'll be able to see.
Shit, man.
We're virtually almost the same person, so.
Oh, the bifocal part. That's the money.
That's the ticket there.
There's not any tasting notes on here.
The water made the alcohol burn go away. It did bring out the leathery notes. There's some bitter chocolate still, but the alcohol's gone. My tongue's not like numb. It definitely softened out the alcohol. Didn't make the rye.
That dark chocolate is just overpowering for me. I don't get vanilla. I don't get brown sugar. I don't get butterscotch. I get dark chocolate.
And leather.
I don't get leather, but I get...
that astringent.
I could see leather, but that's where the dark chocolate. I think that astringent, the bitterness, I think is the same thing as you're saying as the astringent.
Yeah.
For me, is like dark chocolate, like an orange peel, and then like that dark cherry... And obviously you can taste the wood char.
Yeah.
I think.
Mm-hmm.
Which I enjoy.
It's nice. It's a robust.
Yes, it's
bourbon.
It's very robust. Is a great word.
Um,
Strong.
Yeah.
The more I sip it, better it's getting for me.
Is it? It's
that dark chocolate's so heavy.
It's so strong.
And then I get the dark chocolate, and then the kind of orange peelness, and then I just don't get any sweetness.
No, it's
like
not
no
a really deep dimensional bourbon
No.
for me.
Well,
I mean, you've got the basic characteristics. You've got that oaky char, the astringentness that goes along with
Yeah.
it, that
I wonder what it
bitter
would be like
note.
a 12-year or something, or an 8-year.
It might be.
I think it might be better. I think it's a
Um,
little over oaked a little
I
bit.
think so.
But it's
I
not
think
over oaked in like a, you have those double oaked bourbon and stuff.
Right,
It's not
because
like
they're
that.
shorter. This has
Right.
been 15 years
Right.
of Kentucky summers, in and out for 15 years. I think it pulled a little bit too much of the oak tannins out of the wood.
Yeah.
That's that astringent, kind of not pungent in a nose way, but a pungent in
I
a
wish we had
palate
another
way.
15-year we could try with it. 15-year bourbon.
A 15-year bourbon. Yeah, I
which
would
would only
really
probably be what's the other one? Pappy?
right the Pappy. So,
Which was a weeded, so you can't really compare
Right.
the two.
but the age
The
characteristic
age,
and the,
just to see if that one's as woody
right,
as this
because
one.
it's 107 proof. The
Right.
Pappy 15 is a 107.
It'd be interesting.
it
just,
would.
it's kind of what you get with any of the ones that are, I think, aged longer than
Yep.
10 to 12 years. You just start to get that
You know,
over oaky, over charred.
it reminds me of the 18-year Elijah Craig.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good comparison.
It reminds me a lot of that 18-year Elijah Craig, that strong.
Yeah, because the
oak
12-year Elijah
characteristic.
Craig doesn't have that.
No, but then you hit that 18 and the 25. I think they have a 25.
It's almost
23. They
like
have a
keeping them in the
23.
barrel with new charred oak barrels that long
Is just
almost too much.
Not, yeah, they're not beneficial. It's a decent. I mean, for
I
a
like
collection
it.
of age-stated bourbons, like Josh said, and I'm the same way. We're a sucker
Yeah.
for them. I love it. There is a 14-year Sam Houston
Yes,
out there.
yeah.
I don't think
It'd be much different.
I just don't think it would be, but I'd like to taste this at a 12-year.
Me too.
8 to 12. 8 to
think so.
12, and I think
think
you
it'd be
might
really
have
good.
a really neat bourbon.
Right. Like if I had this, you look at the label and all that, and it kind of skews you like, well, this is going to be good because it's this and this.
Right.
But if I had that in a blind, I probably wouldn't pick it as my favorite. If something kind of
Right.
comparable.
If you were to throw a Old Forester 1910 up against it,
yeah, that's totally
it's a different char, heavy
But even
char,
like
but
a
shorter
Knob
time.
Creek 12 or like
Yeah.
something close in years. I bet
Right.
I bet I wouldn't pick that. I don't know though.
Whiskeys, as they sit and oxidize in your glass, if you give them 40 minutes, 30 minutes or so,
I mean, it's good.
there's some vanilla on the nose
Yeah.
now.
It's good. It's just
It is.
I think it's over oak, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Dang it. Well, I spent $130 on it, so it looks cool on my shelf.
There is some dark cherry notes though.
Yeah, I get that.
and
the
chocolate.
dark chocolate is
Is
overbearing
very
for me.
strong. It's a skosh over oaked,
Right.
sadly.
If you like that, then I'd recommend it.
Right.
If you don't, then do not buy it.
Right. Don't drop your 130 on it.
Yeah. I wouldn't.
Age stated bourbons are so unique
Suck
though.
me right in like a tractor beam.
They're so unique and there's so much potential. And this is an ultra small batch.
And it's cool with Sam Houston. Like, there's
Yeah,
just so much. I
there's a
mean,
lot
that
of
of course
history.
that's all marketing. We all know that. It's not. It's still just being made like everything else.
Right.
But
But
it's cool. I don't know. I'm glad I bought it because
Yeah.
I've always wanted it
sure.
since I've seen it on the shelf, and I just
That's
was a little tipsy when we went to the liquor store, and
maybe
I'm like,
not a
"I'm
good
grab
time
it."
to go shop at the liquor store. It's like you
I
should
seem
never
to
go
buy
to the,
more stuff.
Yeah, yeah. It's like you never go to the grocery store when you're hungry.
Correct.
Because you'll buy more stuff like Oreos and Chips Ahoy and Who knows? Just
fried chicken to eat in the car and then get the grease all over your steering wheel.
Correct.
And then cry in the driveway because you're a fat piece of garbage.
When you crash your car, it's so slippery. As we digress down a rabbit hole.
There we go. Yeah.
Sam Houston, little over oaked. Price is pretty spendy. You're going to pay a pretty penny for $130. We wish it was a little younger. I think the 15 years hurt it a little bit.
I think it's a good whiskey. It's just over oaked.
Yeah.
Over
I
charred,
agree.
over barreled or whatever, however you say
Yep.
that. Over
Too much time.
So I can't say I recommend it, but it's not by any means a bad whiskey.
No.
But for the price point, if it was like $70, I'd be like all day long.
Sure,
Get
a
this.
15-year bourbon. It's bold.
130.
It might make some mean ass cocktails.
And it might, now that we're down past this part, as it oxidizes, it might open up and be a little bit. I mean, I'm gonna keep, every couple weeks I'll have a little tipple and see how it goes.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. Sam Houston, 15-year, 3-barrel bourbon. They use 3 barrels. Make
it is what it is.
Dump it.
It's good.
It's
not
decent.
great.
It's a decent bourbon.
Right.
You're paying for that 15 years.
Yeah,
There's not a lot of it going around.
I basically paid for the 15-year. If it just said Sam Houston bourbon, I probably wouldn't have bought it.
Not
for that price.
$130, yeah. But
anyways, we've hashed that out. So.
We did. We hope
Sorry, Sam.
We hope you've enjoyed this whiskey review. And, we do these so you all out there in whiskey land
maybe save you some money.
Make an informed decision.
I wish I would have watched this before I bought it.
Based on our reviews. And this is just us.
Right.
Other reviewers, check them out. There's some great YouTube channels out there that do whiskey reviews.
Right. If you agree with like the stuff, you find ones that have kind of the same palate as you. So if we like the same stuff you like, and we say something like this is probably not something you want to buy,
right?
It'll save you some money.
Correct.
But if your palate's different, you'd be like, this is the greatest whiskey I ever had.
Right.
Good on you.
Yep.
It might be.
It's bold.
I'm not going to say you're
strong.
wrong. It's your taste.
Yep. It's bold and strong.
Correct. It's very bold.
It is.
It's very strong.
Very, very of both of those. We'll wrap this review up for y'all. As always, enjoy your whiskeys and bourbons.
Any way you like.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers,
buddy. That's a bold move, Cotton.
I gotta get every last drop of that 15-year.
It's nice. It's nice. It's strong.
It is.